look like when it comes to voter fraud or whatever. Tommy Pinion's here. He's the Vice President of Government Relations at the Heritage Foundation. Hey, Tommy, talk to me about Pennsylvania and what a Supreme Court case could look like out of Pennsylvania in particular.
Yeah, well, this is one location where the Trump campaign has sued. There are several locations where the Trump campaign is suing. And in Pennsylvania and other locations, what they want is what they are calling meaningful access to the location where the ballots are being counted. This is something they say is guaranteed by Pennsylvania election law. They want to be able to see those who are counting the ballots, verify themselves that they are checking the signatures, checking the postmarks, those kinds of things. They say ballots have been counted already and they were not granted meaningful access for the counting of those ballots. They want the counting to be stopped until they are able to do that. And it seems like a reasonable case to me. It's going to be decided on the Pennsylvania level in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. But as you saw, Rudy Giuliani is also indicating they might be interested in making a federal case out of it.
So what could the Supreme Court do? Because Rudy Giuliani in that clip we just played said he wants to throw out the 125,000 ballots that this one particular guy said they were not able to observe. But the ballots are already counted. Like, what could one do? That's a big ask to throw them out, right?
It is a big ask, but that also is the law. The law is that the campaigns are to be granted access to the counting facilities to observe that process. That is one remedy, what Giuliani suggested. There are others. A recount would be among them, or the court could get creative. But when you think about it, it really isn't such a big ask to know who really won this election. We want every legal vote to be counted, no more, no less. And I think that's what every American wants. And that's what the Biden campaign should want as well. And how are you going to know that if you aren't able to grant what the law guarantees you, which is the ability to observe the process?
Do you know the details of the exact claim they're making? Like, what is they did not get meaningful access mean exactly?
I don't know, and I think it's that's going to be up to them to make that case.
I wonder if they can prove that.
To me, if I'm assigned that by the campaign, I want to be close enough that I can see the ballot. I want to be able to see with my eyes that the person counting it is checking the things that they're able to count. And verify that the whole law is followed. If you're on the other side of the room, you aren't able to do that.
Yeah. Wow. And I hope they can prove the Trump team needs to prove it and not just have hearsay about it. Interesting. What do we know the Supreme Court could do about this decision from the state to allow unpostmarked ballots to arrive in the mail in Pennsylvania until Friday at 8 p.m.? Because the state Supreme Court said that's fine, that's great. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled 4-4 not to hear the case. So what could be the future of those votes, which are very open to fraud?
Well, there's an interesting wrinkle there, and that is that there are now 9 members of the Supreme Court. No longer are there 8 members, as there were when they made that decision, thanks to the introduction of Justice Amy Coney Barrett. And of course, the Supreme Court can hear that case now on the other side of the election, and they could decide that that was an improper decision, that it did not follow the law, and they could decide it on any basis. It could be the number of days. It could be about checking the postmark. It could be about anything. What we need here is a subset of ballots that is big enough to turn the election, and then that litigation, that specific Supreme Court, the case, the whole thing could turn on. If the number of questionable ballots is enough to turn the election, then just like 2000, we're going to have a microscope on that set of ballots, and the Supreme Court is going to have to decide in time for the Electoral College to meet on January the 6th.
Wow, that would be now. First, I think Trump will win Pennsylvania without having to do that, but for some reason, I was thinking that because the Supreme Court said they're not going to hear it, that means they can't hear it again. Like I'm like applying some double jeopardy law to it or something like that. But you're saying they could hear it again if they wanted to.
Absolutely. I think in the decision not to hear the case, the Supreme Court even indicated you can bring this back. We don't have time to do this before the election, or it's impossible to be done before the election. But they did not close the door to that very same case being brought back now.
Wow, and that's amazing. Gosh, that's amazing. I'm just trying to see that through because they have a good argument that at least Trump's saying, the Secretary of State unilaterally extended the deadline. And that needs to be done legislatively, not through executive fiat. They have a pretty good case, right?
Absolutely. The Pennsylvania Constitution will say that the state legislators have the legislative power. They have the ability to make laws, not the Secretary of State, not the governor. Like on the federal level, that isn't their role. And the Supreme Court will make that decision. But, voters in Pennsylvania, they vote for state legislators who represent them in the lawmaking process. They didn't get that representation. And I can't think of a more important instance where you need it.
Yeah, okay. Give me another state. Or are there other lawsuits that are thrown out there other than just Pennsylvania?
The Trump campaign, the first lawsuit they filed was in Michigan. Same issue, meaningful access. Of course, that has been called now. But the Trump campaign says, look, we want to know the results of this election. And there's you still have Nevada ballots outstanding and potential litigation there. You still have Arizona ballots outstanding and potential litigation there. Same with Georgia, same with North Carolina.
Yeah. Where are you on the conspiracy to ineptness spectrum when it comes to how we've seen votes come down and irregularities? And I don't even want to really go down this road, but like the Wisconsin turnout is like astronomically high. Where do you fall on that spectrum?
Look, I'm a realist, and I know that both exist. Absolute incompetence is a big problem with our federal government and our state government. So I know that incompetence exists, and I also know that voter fraud exists, that voting irregularities from time to time are motivated by partisan individuals who are trying to change the results of the election. So it's some mix of both. But I'll tell you what I think very strongly, what I feel very strongly is that we have to check out every question, every allegation that is made, every set of ballots that is questionable. The American people are owed, and our democracy depends on reliable election results. So there can be no sweeping under the rug. There can be no moving on. Let's just get a president and heal as a nation. In order for our democracy to survive, we got to know the answer.
Al Gore went till December 13th. You say the Electoral College meets when? January what?
January the 6th. January the 6th.
Okay. So we got time to figure this all out. Tommy Binion, I think I said Pinion earlier. Sorry, Tommy. Tommy Binion, Vice President of Government Relations at the Heritage Foundation. Awesome, Tommy. Appreciate you.
Have a great show. Thanks.